Welcome to the Whitetail Legacy Podcast.
Tomorrow is opening day.
This morning, didn't have a great hunt. Deer didn't move like usual.
We just got set up in the middle of this bedding thicket. Saving this spot from the rut. It's a nice, I think it's a nice buck.
Boom! Hits a 170.
That was money. I think he's down right over there, maybe 10 yards.
Whitetail Legacy Podcast, bringing you back to the hunt and leaving a legacy.
Baller rut.
All right, guys, we got an awesome episode coming. The first one of the Whitetail Gear series, coming at you with the Exodus trail cams. Jake came down, did the long trek of 2 hours to do in studio. Super epic of him to come down. Really awesome guy, just like the brand. We run a lot of trail cams. Exodus is one of them. They're up in the top for sure. So with this series, we wanted to bring to light some hunting brands that don't get a lot of exposure. Exodus is getting a lot of exposure, though, with their trail cam radio and everything, but it's still a smaller, newer brand compared to like a Moultrie or a Stealth Cam or something that's like a household name. So we wanted to let them share a little bit about their trail cams and maybe teach the people a little bit about what they can expect from Exodus, and then also tell them about trail cam radio. There's a lot of solid content on that, and a lot of solid content from some giant buck killers on their YouTube.
Yeah, and that's something that both you and I enjoy and listen to weekly.
Yeah. All right, let's get into the people that make this possible. We'll get into the episode. You coming with the notes again this week. So,
I do what I can. I can. It's honest work.
All right, you just run for it.
The VIP Veteran Broadhead, starting off with them. The 175 grain is available on their website at veteranip.com. Elk season's coming up.
Bro, there's a guy shooting a bow on there. He's a solid 9 on the pick.
He is a real solid 9. I wish the focus was a 9, but the guy is a 9.
Focus is, whoever took the picks is subpar.
Needs to work on that ring. Yeah, the 175 grain, guys, if you're going out west, on a mule deer hunt or an elk hunt, check that out. I know it's late August. You're probably not going to pick it up this year, but I also feel like going on a western hunt is also something that you're just not like going on spur of the moment. So, pick up a pack of 175 grain veteran broadheads, get used to them, shoot them. And when you go on that trip, next year or the year after, you'll be confident in the accuracy that they deliver right out of the package, and you won't have any second thoughts about it.
Yep, for sure.
And getting into the VIP Veteran Broadhead shout-out, this week we got Anthony Hartley. He was in the Army for 8 years as a field artillery forward observer. 13F rank, and he was an E5. 3 combat deployments between Iraq and Afghanistan. His first 2 deployments were to Iraq within the 115 3rd Brigade. I'm gonna guess that's brigade. In the 3rd Division out of Fort Benning, Georgia. The last tour was in Afghanistan with the 2nd 22 Infantry Triple Deuce, 1 Brigade. Man, again, I'm just guessing that's brigade. He was on the 10th Mountain Division out of Fort Drum, New York. So, Anthony, we appreciate your service, going overseas 3 times, 2 times to Iraq, and 1 time to Afghanistan. I don't know how long you were over there, but you were over there longer than I was, so I definitely appreciate that. I know Cody does. Everybody from the VIP family, and Matt and Cindy. Getting into Bigger Bucks Outfitters. Has anybody booked their hunt yet that's listening?
I don't know.
got to get on it.
I wish I could be hunting out there.
Right?
The bucks I got on cam, it'd be pretty sick to
Dude,
get on there. They got more bucks than we got on cam. I guarantee you that right now.
For
we got
sure.
a few, but we ain't got like 28 or something.
Right? We just don't have 170s walking around, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Biggerbucksoutfitters.com is where you're going to want to do that. The velvet's getting ready to come off. It's getting ready to get real serious. Like I said, check out their website, also their Facebook page, Bigger Bucks Outfitters. You want to go over Ingram?
Sure. So you guys been waiting. The bucks are like on the edge of just breaking out. We're gonna hold them back. Sadly, I know we got a lot of listeners that have been messaging in. We're gonna hold them back until we do the video with Ingram. That will be their release. We'll probably do the video, potentially go live up there to release the mounts.
I was say because now you're really counting on my editing speed to get some stuff out.
Yeah, so we'll probably go live up there when we do the video with Ingram. So the anticipation's still building.
I was gonna say, just go to our Facebook page and get notified when we go live.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it. We have multiple people messaging in like, all right, we just got to see it. We got to see it. We've been talking it up forever.
Right.
So that's Ingram's Outdoor Obsession. All your taxidermy needs, right just north of us. Let us know if you need to get a hold of them or check them out on Facebook, Ingram's Outdoor Obsession.
There you go. Get into ECW calls. Like I said, we're down there. After being down there and seeing like each lathe station and like really taking that in and absorbing, like, you know, each of these lathes is going to be responsible for making a call and just really thinking about that and processing it. Like, none of these calls are mass produced. Each of them is uniquely made. It's got its own, you know, wobble on the edge that didn't get, you know, made out perfectly, didn't get sanded perfectly, you know. So just when you pick up an ECW call, it's got its own unique features, and I think that's very cool and something that gets brought to light when we were down there.
Yeah, for sure. It was super cool to see him working on the lathe, and just you're watching him doing that. You're like, man, there's a lot of work into every one of these calls. You know,
just to think that each one of them started as a round, not a round block, but you know, a square block.
You know what I mean? That's pretty epic.
So, you know, made by a veteran, one at a time.
You think we could get a Jack Daniels grunt tube?
Man, dude,
we need to get
I'm surprised
something.
that hasn't come up yet.
We need to get
somebody's had to make one.
We need to get something on the DL with.
Yes, I meant somebody's had to want one.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna ask him. We'll get that lined out.
EmbryCustomWoodworking.com. Get your order in there. ScentLock. ScentLock's got all your liquid needs: laundry soap, soaps, field wipes. We're coming up on less than a month to go until season, so be sure to get everything you need there. I like to buy the gallon of the spray, just that way I don't have to like refill.
Yeah.
So I'll buy.
You're good for the year.
Yeah, I'll buy the combo. I'll buy the 32-ounce spray bottle with the gallon refill, just to get that knocked out. So check them out, ScentLock.com, and the new Oz site, OzByScentLock.com. And then I believe
that's it.
Let's
get into the content.
All right, guys, time to get serious for a second. Got a little announcement. I'm just kidding. Well, I can't ever be serious. We podcasted with Ben there last week, and we wanted to bring him some value. We always want to bring value to the people that, you know, take time to come on the show and spend, you know, an evening or a night with us. So we decided to try to be the voice of the bow hunting league. Each week, we're going to kind of recap the kills that everybody's entered in for the weekend. Usually Cody and I podcast on Friday nights, and then I'm going to try to do this on Tuesday right before we release on Wednesday. That way everybody has time to get their kills in from the weekend and make the cut. And, you know, after we podcast with Ben, that was when Cody and I decided that we were going to get a team. And to be honest with you, before that, we weren't going to. And after podcast with Ben, him just talking about the group and, everybody helping everybody out and all the camaraderie and all that. So that was something that Cody and I wanted to be a part of. So we are getting our team entered. You still do have 2 days to get a team entered. It closes on the 31st. So if you guys are thinking about it, I'm telling you, you're going to want to be in the group. I've been in there for almost 2 weeks now. A ton of fun, a lot of big deer in there, and already some deer getting shot. So like I said, we're just going to recap the kills and keep the team standings up to date. Also the big doe leader and the women's division leader. So from the Tennessee season, there was 5 deer killed. I only have 4 down. We are still waiting on a score from a late recovery from one guy on Monday. So the first deer taken was Aaron Webb on Team Hunting with Honor at 147 2/8. Second deer was Zach Alexander, Team Killing Time, 156 1/8. The third is Matt Jennings, Team Regulators, 134 3/8. And the fourth deer is Stephen Tucker, Team Regulators, 163 1/2. So already got a 160 down. All real solid deer. That 134 had a pretty cool wicked right side on his head. So, Ben's sharing them on the Bow Hunting League page. Be sure to follow them on Facebook and Instagram. So that puts Regulators out into an early lead with 297 7/8 inches down. Killing Time is second with 156 1/8, and third is Hunting with Honor, 147 2/8. The fifth deer will have to be making the cut for next week. I'm not really sure when the next season comes in. I know Kentucky's early, and then Tennessee's not far behind. So there's going to be, and season's already in Florida. So there's going to be some deer coming in, and I'm going to try to keep everything straight, keep you guys all up to date. It's going to be something pretty fun, kind of just see the deer that everybody's knocking down and at what time of the year. Also, one other thing before we get into the content is Last Breath just launched their deer season stuff from last year on their YouTube page. Last night I had Last Breath party at my house. Just me and the wife kicked back with the kids watching all their 8 episodes. Got a western hunt in there, hunt antelope, and then of course all their epic deer footage coming out. So if you guys want to see that video of it's live and ready to go. So check them out. Check out the Bow Hunting League, and here we go with the content.
All right, we're in studio with Jake Hofer from Exodus Trail Cams. Thanks for making the long trip down here. How long was it for you?
This is roughly 2 hours, but hey, it's all for the content.
Yeah, man, you guys been putting in. Shout out to you. I know we talked about it before, but I just want to do a personal shout out. You guys, for your podcast, put in more work content-wise than I think any other podcast does. The miles you guys put on, and like we were saying, like your podcast is one that we religiously listen to, and it was funny how like when you don't have a podcast, you listen to like 90,000, and now I have like just a select few that I listen to. I'm like, I don't even listen to ours. I used to listen to ours, but now I'm like, I know what I said.
I ain't got no time.
Unless someone in the Snap group says something, I'm like, what did I say?
Yeah,
because I got to remember what I said. But other than that, I try to gain from other people's podcasts. So I appreciate you promoting that and creating that for us.
That's rewarding to hear because it is a lot of work, but that's the mission, and that's what we want to make sure we hear because it is a lot of work and it's a lot of time and it's money, but at the end of the day, everyone can do a phone interview, but it takes some true dedication to go drive to the person's house and talk to them in person because I think it's a lot – the conversations are so much better, and that's why I drove down here today too because I just think it'd be a better interview. Yeah,
we appreciate it, man. I thought it was we had planned in studio, and then we had a mishap on the scheduling, and then you were like, "What's your address?" I'm like, "Oh, he's coming, he's coming." So I was jacked when you decided to come. I was like, "Homie, it's probably gonna be a late night. Just keep the beer cold in the fridge, and we'll be fine." So,
right.
But yeah, we appreciate you making the long trip. I mean, a couple hours to come down here to this Podunk studio. And
This is a sweet studio. Don't say that. This is a really cool studio.
yeah, and you ought to seen the floor before we put this fake hardwood in.
Yeah. It was pretty epic.
Yeah, it was pretty
Was
sick.
it like concrete or?
Yeah,
like,
it's cracked concrete. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Real nice in the wintertime.
We were just trying to double up for we might have possibly had Matt Light coming in here. And
Yeah.
so we're like, oh, we need to do something.
Yeah.
So I put some carpet in my front room, and I was like, dude, I got some exotic wood we could put in here.
So yeah, we had you on. Like I said, we're doing the Whitetail Gear series. Your trail cam company, I think, is like it's what everybody should be running, whether they're not. It's like even we were talking about. It's just that transition from this is what you need to do. We know what we need to do. We just need to do it.
Yep.
And me and Homie's been talking about this a long time. With that 5-year warranty, props to you guys. That takes like a lot of balls to do, right? Like, to be honest, it takes a lot of balls to do to be able like, all right, we're gonna back this 5 years. If other companies heard that, they'd be like, oh man, this sounds rough. You know what I mean? But we've been running the Treks, and literally they're like bulletproof. I feel like that thing could run 10 years. You know what I mean? I don't know what the longest Trek running is. But.
Right. That would be a kind of cool stat
Yeah.
to put out. And they're not even, they are backing their product 4 or 5 years, but they also have that theft
Yeah.
backing,
No one does that.
Shit happens.
And there's nothing more frustrating. Just like my mother-in-law bought me a trail cam for Christmas, right? Get it out of the box, and it's missing one of the contacts for the batteries, right? I'm like, what is going on? I look at it. It's out of warranty already. Literally just got it out of the package. But since I've got it in Christmas and hadn't opened it up till this deer season.
Because it was like June.
Yeah, it's expired. I'm like, I haven't even used this thing, and the warranty is expired. It's never came out of the package, but it's no good.
That's frustrating.
It is super frustrating. And then another thing that we've dealt with you guys is your customer service. Like if you call another trail cam company, like I know one of them, you're talking to someone from Alabama, and they don't know what's going on. Nothing against Alabama, but I'm just saying we got this trail cam. You probably should put new batteries in it. That's what they always say. It's the batteries.
Yep.
It's the batteries. But no, you guys are breaking it down, going through us. We had a mishap with our Trek last year, and he was like, "This is exactly what you need to do." And we're like, "Okay, perfect. That's what we need to know."
And then we did it, and boom,
Yeah,
next
boom,
thing you know,
it's
boom.
working. You know what I mean? That's what you need to know. And we got to do that in person, but I mean,
And that's what you get when you call and talk to a company, or in person, like we had the ability to do.
Yeah.
And they listen and they deal with their product on a daily basis because
it's not a company that owns 10 companies.
Right.
It's a company. It's a few guys that are like, this is what we do. We're trail cam guys. Do you ever get? You're the trail cam guy. Do you get that ever?
Yeah, it used to be the deer pee guy. In college,
nice,
But
yeah.
I'd much rather prefer a trail cam guy. I'll be honest.
I'm not in the DRP game, bro.
I was gonna say
I'm out.
We had that down on the notes, I think,
Yeah.
at one point, or it was just brought up on your podcast.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Or the Last Breath guys always like to revert back to that
Yeah.
when we bring you guys up, because we give them a hard time about the Moultrie deal.
Oh yeah. as Cody's wearing a Moultrie hat.
Yeah.
In
I
the
got
house,
this.
Exodus in the house, Moultrie hat.
I got this at the Last Breath launch party. It was free. This is a free hat.
That's acceptable.
Yeah. So
And
I don't have an Exodus hat. I'm just saying.
I'm wearing a Last Breath hat right
Yeah.
now too.
I looked for a couple Exodus hats, but I just shipped them all to Ohio. So
Oh, okay. That's understandable.
It's a true
I
story.
understand that.
Ohio's pumping out the content.
Yeah, Ohio is pumping out the content. That's for sure. All right, well, let's get into this. Well, I appreciate you coming down again. I know we're going to be able to get some awesome content to the listeners. I know a lot of them that's probably heard of Exodus gear, but I don't know if they've ever really broke down the trail cameras if they haven't listened to your podcast with the J. They should. They should go back from the start.
Definitely.
I learned so much on that. Just on your basic trail cam tips. I'm like, man, I am so dumb right now. I'm just gonna act like I know that. Just keep going on. Slow roll, change it, But you should definitely check out Trail Cam Radio. Awesome content from all the way from the beginning when you just were like, this is what you should do. This is what you should do for summer camps. This is what you should do for winter camp. You know what I mean? So
Usually when a podcast starts, like episode 50, you're like, okay, yeah. After 50, you should be pretty solid. No, it was like episode 3, you'd be like, boom.
yeah.
We appreciate that.
Solid content.
when we were recording some of those, like, do we really need to release this? And then like we were releasing them, it was like really solid feedback. It's like, okay, we're on to something. We'll continue doing that. So
yeah, I mean, I think that, like I just mentioned a couple of times, there's knowledge that like I think people know. Like you know, you've been with trail cams for a while, so you're like, oh, everybody knows this, but no, we don't know it. Like, we're like, all right, set it up, the date, the time. All right, it's on. I got an SD card in it. I'm good. You know what I mean? But they're like, I mean, there's so many tips from saving battery life to, you know, different angles. Or me and homie just figured out how to not get sun pics at like 82,000 a day. You know what I mean? Just a couple years ago. So, but go ahead and give us a short introduction of yourself, and we'll go ahead and get into the show, and I'll stop talking.
yeah, so my name's Jake Hofer. I am from Illinois, originally not too far from here, so that's why I made the trip down. I have some family functions to attend tomorrow, but Jake Hofer, I graduated from Western Illinois University, so this trip down took me back. I felt like I had another hour to go to Macomb.
Oh, yeah.
But I've been with Exodus for almost 3 years now. I handle all the marketing, sales, and we have an awesome team that's starting to grow, so it's been fun to kind of be on the ground floor and build this brand personally, brick by brick, so it's been fun.
Yeah, I like how you release, like, your building, like you got your intern and stuff. That's fun for me to following. I appreciate your guys' brand. I follow your podcast. So you growing and I get to watch it. I enjoy that. You know, it's cool seeing a company grow that you like. And I'm really excited for Cameron. He seems like he's really jacked to get in there and get stuff done. So sound like you put a lot of miles in with you this week.
Yeah, he I think it was like 1,800 something miles. And so he drove out to my house Monday. Well, he had filmed the hunt school the week before, so then he had one day off. Then he drove all the way out here. Nice. And I drove. I'm a pretty erratic driver, so I don't know if he's gonna ride with me again. But yeah. So then he's made a direct impact right away, and he's doing a good job. He's learning. He has a lot of initiative to learn. So those are the type of people we like to work with. Everyone is very competent at their job and tries to strive at doing better. So it's cool to work with good guys. And there's no dead weight.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I'm gonna say, I mean, we've heard a lot of good stuff about that Film the Hunt School. So, we had Jordan Spencer on episode, and he did he go there? Yeah,
yeah, he went there, and then he went back and actually taught a day there.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, wow. So, we've heard a lot about that, and does that mean more video podcasts coming from you guys?
Yeah, so we recorded 3 this week, and actually, quick teaser. I don't know. Cameron might get mad at me, but we're gonna try to do a whitetail cribs thing.
Oh, nice!
So we were
epic.
Yeah. So we were at Scott Buckley's house in Iowa, and it's insane. Like all the deer that were in that picture were from Iowa public ground.
Wow.
And so when we're traveling all these people's houses, and they have awesome like. Everyone wants to showcase their deer.
Oh, yeah.
And everyone wants to look at them and hear the stories. So we're going to start doing like a 5-minute series of like whitetail cribs when we're at these people's houses. So when you get your buck in here, we're going to do a whitetail cribs, whitetail legacy studio.
I'm about to bring every buck I ever shot in the studio.
Absolutely.
Like, yeah, I shot this when I was 9. Yeah.
You should.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Yeah, that's I really like that idea. That's something.
No one steal that, all right?
Yeah, no one steal that because that's
we may trademark it.
All right, we're never releasing this podcast.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm jacked to watch that because I mean, like you see him in the background and you're listening to the podcast, watching it, but you're like, oh man, look at that. Look at that brow over there. That's what I'm thinking, like, you know.
So yeah, I walked into his house and I like right when you walk in, 170-inch caliber deer, double drop tines, and it's like, all right, this is the best place to record episode 1 because it's gonna be freaking wild.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's epic. I know I seen that mountain lion in the background. I'm like,
yeah,
you got a mountain lion just entertained with your deer.
Yeah, and the funny part was, he's like, well, you should. Originally, we were gonna go walk his farm with him, and he has a farmhouse elsewhere. And he's like, well, you need to see these ones. The last 3 deer I killed last year, he killed like a 178, a 170, and like a mid 160s all in 1 year, all 2 on public, and then 1 on his home farm.
Jeez,
he's a grinder.
That's a solid year.
Yeah, that guy is.
He says he scouts 72 weeks out of the 52 weeks, or he scouts 47 weeks out of the 52 weeks of the year.
Wow.
Man.
So he is a hard worker.
just hunts the rut and then scouts the rest of the time.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I feel like I mean, you just getting to hang out with those people and learn from them firsthand is
I feel
epic.
guilty sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. I don't. Yeah, you won't hear me on a podcast saying like you need to do this to kill a big deer, but you best believe I have both ears open every time I have a chance.
Sure. Every time we have someone on, whether it's nobody, I'm like,
homie, we should probably try that. It don't sound like it would work, but it might. It might
It's
work.
worth a try.
Yeah, it's worth a try. So everybody knows where Exodus is now, but I've never really heard the story of where it began. So when you came on, I thought that'd be a cool place for us to start.
That's a good question. So originally there was Chad, Matt, and Steve. Chad and Steve were brothers. And Chad and Matt had a lease in Southern Ohio, and they were running cameras, and it was like a situation where they're 5-6 miles away from the lease. They were running cameras. They were disappointed with them, and like trying to get a hold of them. Cameras weren't lasting. Cameras weren't working out of the box, like you just said. So all that frustration kind of rolled into also, like we were talking earlier, like the rise of direct-to-consumer companies, a global economy, being able to develop a product, take authority into a space. So it developed out of an issue of cameras not working, and then what can we do different, have good customer service, and all those other various things. So started out as an idea, and much like many other solid direct-to-consumer businesses, it started with one product, the Lift One, which I have one of the very, very original cameras. It's still like, it'll be on a tree this fall.
Nice.
And so then it's kind of started from there, and then the Lift One, then the Lift Two, and then the Trek, and now the Render. And I'm not going to say it's been easy by any regard. I mean, being any small business, and it's not like being able with like a parent group or anything like that where they have a large purchasing budget, they can finance purchase orders. I mean, we're bootstrapping this thing. They were bootstrapping it, so you buy 1,000 cameras, and then like hopefully like we sell 600, 700. It's time to put a deposit down on the next one. So it's been just cool to see the business kind of grow, and I feel like we're finally kind of hitting our stride as well and hitting some growth. So it's been fun, and hopefully that's at least a 45-second version of the story.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's
Any
perfect.
questions about? I mean, did I miss anything? Anything in particular?
No, that's cool. I guess I just thought it was probably just some trouble with some trail cams, and someone got together and said, "Hey, let's do something about it." Because when you came out with the 5-year, you know that someone was frustrated,
Very frustrated
with some company, you know, and just saying, "Hey, this isn't right. Let's do it right." People are paying money for these, and they're not lasting. You know what I mean? And
well, that's exactly what it was too. Like, you're spending your hard-earned money on it, and then it craps out. That's a bad feeling.
Yeah.
And then no company is standing behind them. So that 5-year warranty was obviously a big part of it, and everyone thought Exodus was crazy for doing that.
Yeah.
But I mean, we've been in business for 4 years. The Lift One, like when you look at the failure rate, it is so low. Like, those suckers are going to last a long time. And obviously, if we're guaranteeing it for 5 years, we think it can last more than that. This isn't like some sort of sick gamble where you're like,
just rolling the dice.
Yeah, I hope they forget after 4. So yeah, we try so hard to build quality cameras, and if we're putting our name on it, it's something we feel confident in.
Sure. So, man, that's cool. I mean, there's nothing worse than going out to a cam that's not working. Like,
it's so frustrating.
You're like, oh, this thing's been soaking 4 weeks. It's gonna have giants on it. You go there, it's like, there's nothing on it. What's going on? And you're like, I put it on setup or something. You check it, no, it's on. You're like, what is going on? So that's one thing we never have a problem. Like, if we put a Trek on, that thing's taking pics. Like, we're 100% certain. And we always put the Trek in, like, this is the money spot.
Yeah.
We have to have something.
Put it on the prime scrape on the property.
This is a prime spot. We got to have something going here. We're going to put the money cam there.
Put it on the biggest travel corridor.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to be going right to these beans.
Yeah. We got to have it right there. So that's what we do. And then our subpar cameras, we're like, well,
maybe it works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a couple that are real sketchy on public that are like, this might take pictures, it might not. I'm not real sure, but I want to put it out here.
Well, there's a place for that too. I mean, I don't want to rag anyone. Like Scott Buckley, for instance, it's fresh in my mind since we just interviewed him this week, but he's like, he got a picture of a bona fide giant on Iowa Public, and he said, I'm not gonna lie to you, I went and bought 20 Tascos at Walmart.
Yeah.
Shotgun spread them all over.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, there's a time and place for that.
Yeah. The one thing I will say about those Tascos, last year, remember I got like pink pictures, orange pictures, purple.
I bet.
I have no idea what was going on, but
It's an IR filter situation.
was it? Yeah, something was going on, but I was getting a lot of pictures of different colors, and then it eventually just shut off. And it went on a cycle where it was like on time lapse mode, like every minute it took a picture. I was like, yeah, this thing's done. But if I would have had Exodus there, I could have got the warranty and it would have been fine. But
Yeah, Tasco doesn't.
Yeah, Tasco ain't doing nothing.
no.
Ain't doing nothing.
I had a cam last year, and it was giving me pink pictures, and I think it was just because it was the heat.
Yeah.
Like it was the hotter part.
That might have been
of
that might have
August.
been what mine was too.
So,
it was in the velvet, I was doing.
Had the Exodus out at the same time, and it was
Nothing.
fire.
Well, it's always good to hear that the treks in the wild are doing good. We know
Yeah.
they do good, but it's always good to hear that.
That's all we have is Treks. We need to
Yep.
step up and get a big boy cam.
There's nothing wrong with the trek.
Yeah.
There's not anything wrong with the trek.
So that's a good segue. Let's talk about the difference between the Trek and the Lift 2. We don't have no Lift 2s. We're really familiar with the Trek, but Lift 2s is something that we don't have. So let's kind of go into that.
So, as you guys know, the Trek is a reliable picture-taking camera. The night pictures are really solid.
Yeah.
Very little motion blur. The one LED strip in the middle. So, I guess to kind of go into what the Lift 2 is all about, that has a little bigger image sensor. It has more bulbs as well, and then it has a black security plastic. So the plastic on the Trek is clear. That plastic is really expensive, so that's why the Lift 2 has that, and that's why the price difference is obviously there. Has a built-in screen and quicker. I mean, all around, it's our flagship camera. I mean, it's our flagship non-cellular trail camera. In my opinion, I only run my Lift 2s on video. Obviously, we're trying to gather content for B-roll for the interviews, so it keeps people engaged. But if you have a Lift 2 and you're not running video, in my opinion, you're not utilizing the full potential of the camera. It shoots 1080p, 30 frames per second. If we wanted to kind of fall into the marketing employees, like we can make that a 4K camera at 15 frames per second. We're not going to. So that kind of point, like the 1080p, 30 frames per second, I mean, it's tough to beat. If you go on our social and look at some of those videos, I mean, pretty happy with those. But other than that, I mean, the shell of them are pretty much the same. It's just the internal components make the big difference. And obviously the Trek has a 2.1 image sensor, and then the Lift 2 has a 3.1 image sensor. So even though they're both 12 megapixel cameras, the Lift 2 does have a better image sensor. So other than that, I mean, there's not a wrong decision, in my opinion.
I really like that you brought up the megapixel thing because that was something that was on one of your episodes at the very beginning. When
Yes.
It was so cool to hear you like be honest and like, you go down the line, and then after that, I was going down the line. I'm like, yeah, this 16 megapixels is way more than the 8, But, and then I looked at like what I was running on the cams I had, and I always had it set on the lowest megapixel anyways. So I'm like, why am I spending more money for these cams? Thinking that they're better cam, but you're actually just paying for a market of megapixels.
Yeah,
So,
it's frustrating. And been to a lot of trade shows. To a lot of trade shows, and people are starting to understand that because even 2 years ago, the question was how many megapixels is your camera? Now people are saying, what's the image? It's very few, but it's getting more to where like, what's the image sensor? Or they're asking different qualifying questions versus, the end all be all. It has to be 24 megapixels because that's what it said. Like, I saw that on ATA Facebook post.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's cool that content's hopefully educating people. I mean, it's so easy to fall into that.
And then the 4K that's just the most ridiculous thing I've heard in my life.
The first 4K camera. No.
Yeah.
No, yeah. The podcast that you guys put out and was covering all the trail cam megapixel, conjunction and all that. And I was like, man, just like Cody said, appreciate you guys being honest about it and, kind of the marketing flaws that other people are putting out and, just trying to get the buyer to buy their cam.
To understand what he's buying. Because,
Yeah.
like, even with us, we've became way more or tech savvy over the last couple of years. But before that, man, I bought a cam. It was like, oh, this, my buddy said this was a good cam. I'm buying a cam. You know what I mean? And there's no one out there that's like, all right, let's break down what these actually are doing.
And that's why we started the podcast too.
Yeah.
It's like no one is all right at the time. Like there's a lot of podcasts out there. I mean, there's no doubt about that. But then we're thinking like, well, there's no dedicated trail camera podcast, and I don't care who you are. You may just like trail cameras are important to kill big deer. I'm not saying they're end all be all, but they're gonna help you if you let them.
Running trail cams is like one of my favorite things to do ever.
It is fun, yeah.
Like There's nothing like getting a giant buck on trail cam. Then your brain starts racing. You're like, all right, what am I gonna do? I gotta move.
Well, the bad thing about it is it's easy to get a picture of him, but to kill him is a whole lot harder.
A whole different story.
So,
but if you get that picture, your confidence just went way up. You're like, all right, I'm in the stand. I ain't seen nothing for 3 days, but I got these pics. Let me tell you about these pics. You never when you talk to a hunting guy. Most likely, he's going to be like, look at these trail cam pics I got. He's not going to be like, he might say, look at this buck I shot, but he's going to be like, look at this trail cam pics I got this year. That's always like the second transition. So trail cams are cool because they bring camaraderie and they help you hunting. And running trail cams is just fun, man. It's just
It is.
It's like you've been hunting that whole time. Like every morning I wake up, I check my mobile. Every morning.
I could have shot that deer.
Every morning I wake up,
Yeah.
I look for updates on my mobile. I'm like, nothing. No, nothing. Normally, what happens? Yep, nothing. Fawn, coyote. That's what normally happens to me. But that's just like I don't know. Everybody just likes to see big deer, and everybody loves to see velvet big deer. I don't care.
Oh, yeah.
Because they look so much bigger. You know what I mean?
I love August. I love early September.
Yeah. And then they all leave and break our hearts.
And they start breaking tines in October. Then they start getting killed in November.
Yeah. That was a good run. It was a good run.
It was
Glad I
fun.
named this deer because he's gone now. So, all right. We brought this up. Do you know anything about lithium batteries and heat? I feel like this is something that hasn't been brought up in any podcast. We had this problem this year, and I know we talked about it earlier, but I think it'd be cool for the listeners just to...
I would say, I know everybody praises that they want you to run lithium.
Yeah.
And even you guys have said it on, Trail Cam Radio. You guys prefer to run the lithium, but our experience in the summer with the heat, they just don't last like they do, when it's cooler, not necessarily cold, but just, the cooler temps.
Yeah, so you can get away running alkalines in the summer. They're water-based. Alkaline batteries are water-based. And also, pretty much the reason why we really bring home lithiums is when people are running them in October, November, like during that season, you want to make sure that you're getting the full life of those batteries so it covers the whole entire season. And here in the Midwest, it's going to get cold eventually, so you want to make sure that they don't freeze up. So I'll be transparent. You can totally run alkalines in the summer when it is hotter. They're a lot cheaper. You can just buy cheap ones on Amazon. If you're going to go and check them in like 4 weeks or, whatever your plan is, which most people are probably checking their cameras within 4 and 6 weeks in the summer. So you can run alkaline. So that's kind of my opinion on that. I'm sure there's a science behind why they crap out in the summer more, but I'm not going to pretend to know that.
Yeah. I just know that's happened to us 3 years now. And it seems like, man, you get a hot day, and it always happens like when we got like a cam on a plot or something where it's not in the timber, right out in the open, and then they'd just be smoked, So, but like you said, you need to buy a $10 battery tester. There's probably one bad battery in there.
Well, that's a lot, and I asked you too where you bought them, and I try not to buy them at department stores just because you don't know how long they've been there. The package says they have a 10-year shelf life or whatever, but I buy all my lithiums on Amazon. I'm sure they're selling millions and millions of lithium batteries every day, it feels like. So definitely get them on Amazon would be my suggestion.
That's what we need to do.
I haven't had a bad problem with buying them on Amazon. I have ran into issues buying them from department stores.
We just need to have a couple $100 racks in here on the table.
Yeah.
Just come in here and dig out. Just take the plunge, get a couple $100 racks piled in here, and you won't have to worry about it for like a year.
Like, the beer fridge is empty, but my battery storage is sick.
Right. Well, the only other thing I would say is if you're buying them in bulk packaging, sometimes that's an issue too.
Yeah, I heard that too.
But I'd probably just get a battery tester.
Yeah, we need to just buy a battery tester. You spend all this money, you spend $50 to run cams, and you can't buy a $10 battery tester.
All right, we'll get that when we get the $3 split.
Auxiliary cord, yeah. That's next on the list. So. All right, we had a couple of listeners want to ask some questions. We put out a short, just our snap group, pretty much, just the hardcore guys. One of them just recently went to Exodus. We had a long talk with him, and he bought a render. And does he have any Lift 2s or no?
I don't think so.
I know Josh Brody's going Exodus. He's getting rid of everything and going Exodus.
Wow, really?
Only. Yeah. That's
Has he gotten any yet?
I don't know. That's a local guy who told me that he's getting rid of everything and going to
Awesome.
Just
straight. And he was a stealth cam guy, and he's just breaking ship and going Exodus. So, and he he's a conductor. We all know they make.
Yeah, they make
shout
way
out
more
John.
than we do.
Shout out John, the
Yeah,
other guy
right.
who went to Exodus.
making more than the conductor.
Yeah, making more than a conductor. So, but they wanted to know some of the best settings to run the render on, because that's something that is new. And John had bought a render, and he's jacked about it. He been talking to Snap Group forever. He's like, "You guys got to get one." I'm like, "We will. You know, we're going to." But just kind of some of the best settings you guys have seen on those.
Great question, and we've been working on that project forever, it feels like. And actually today we sent out the email that all pre-orders prior to July 21st are shipping, and we sent out the firmware instructions, and we're updating them. So that's a giant kind of weight off our shoulders.
Giant win.
It's been a long battle, and I mean, just to allude to the process of getting that camera legitimately certified with Verizon is like releasing a new phone, and it is not easy to do. The amount of testing that goes into it and the amount of forms, it's by far the hardest project we ever done. So with that being said, we're happy with how it's turned out. It's gonna be a solid camera at $335 with a 5-year warranty. So we're super happy, and the pre-orders went really well. So anyways, it's a Verizon 4G LTE camera. I'm running that puppy in picture mode, probably 2 or 3 bursts, and it'll be different, depending on the time of year. I'm definitely going to be running a solar panel, so I don't have to go in and check it, and you can, hypothetically let that run 365. This upcoming week, we'll have a podcast very in-depth about the render, too. So
Nice.
as far as settings, have pictures, run that solar panel, make sure you have enough signal where ideally 3 bars. You could probably get away with 2 bars, and totally up to you on upload intervals. So you can do a real-time upload interval, 3, 6, 12, or 24-hour upload interval. So if you want to save battery, you can do the 24-hour upload interval, and you can change that all remotely as well. So the question we always get to is, well, can I just add that to my phone plan? Well, that is typically an MMS camera, so it only sends pictures to your phone. There's no type of online interface where you can communicate with that camera. This camera has that, and it's a ScoutTech app. So if you want to change, I want real-time, not 24-hour, and you can go in and manually change that on the app. So anything you can physically do on the camera, you can do that with the app through your phone or web portals. So we're just really happy with it. The transmission times are really fast, and we're excited to see everyone get these cameras in their hands. It's been a long process, and it's been a challenge, but we're extremely excited, and hopefully your buddy there gets it, and he's amped still.
He's got it. Yeah, he's got it. Yeah.
Oh, he was one of the
He got one pre-order, then he got it early.
Yep.
I really like how you guys put it out and said, "Hey, we know it's getting crunch time.
Yeah.
We know that we're struggling here." I mean, I don't even want to know what you guys had to do. I don't even going to get into that, but I mean,
That's why I have a brain fog.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine the amount of paperwork and stuff that is, because you're getting into. We're bouncing signals in space and
a
stuff.
small company dealing with a big giant company.
Yeah, they don't care about us.
No, yeah.
And you sent it out and said, "Hey, this is your trail camera. You can use it as a trail camera, and we're gonna be updating soon." I think that was a super solid idea. You got them out and said, "Hey, you guys bought these trail cam pre-order. You can use them as trail cams." And John's using it as a trail cam, and he has another cell cam that he's not very happy with at all right now. So he is jacked to get this one out and start getting. And he's an early season guy. Like this is his bread
very
and butter.
important.
Yeah,
Kentucky's very early for him.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
he-
Their season opens up early.
Yeah, and he kills the last 3 years. He kills a giant early, like right out of velvet. Like he's just smashing them.
Yep.
And he's very passionate about deer hunting, and he does not play around when it comes to mineral baiting, cameras, all that. And he's like, I'm just gonna buy the best of the best and get it done. So I told him, I said, dude, if you buy it, you're solid. Like you're not gonna complain. You're gonna worry. You got 5-year warranty on it. Like you're set. So he went ahead and went for it. If I had his kind of money, I'd have like 5 of them. But shout out John, I love you. But anyways, yeah, I thought that was a really cool idea. He was just jacked to get it. He's like, I got it in the mail,
Nice.
boys.
Yeah, I mean, there's been some. I mean, I'll be transparent. There's been some people who are rightfully upset that it took this long. I can't say I blame them one bit. So, we just try to be as open and honest as
Yeah.
possible. And it's tough to communicate that clearly with so many people. I mean, with our email program, we can segment it down to people who buy certain products at certain times and email that out to where it's a very niche down email that only X amount of people are getting. And then they send an email like, hey, I didn't get that. I was like, I know for sure you got that email. But so just trying to mass communicate effectively with a lot of people has been a challenge. But, I mean, moving forward, it's back to business, and we're excited. We'll have another shipment coming in September. So we underestimated how many we would sell, which is, I guess, is a good thing. So
Good, yeah.
they're working bulletproof now and flawlessly. So
you can send video on those, correct?
yeah, you can send video. Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
yeah, that's something that I don't think anybody
Man,
else
that's-
offers.
There may be a couple, but I mean, just the ability to change everything through.
Yeah,
I mean,
through
at 335, 5-year warranty, like, I don't know if, like, when we were drawing up the project, I was like, I don't know how we can increase this value proposition anymore realistically
Yeah, 5-year warranty is just
on a cellular device.
on a cellular device.
I would say if you put the solar panel on that thing, like, what are you even going there for?
I had no idea.
Yeah,
Kill
I mean,
something. Hopefully.
Look at it.
yeah.
Yeah, that's my mobile cam over there. Yeah, it's getting booners. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, so, but yeah, me and homie been talking about it. We need to get one. We need to make the purchase, at least try it out, give a feedback. I know
You
it's
guys
gonna
on the
be
email
solid.
list?
I don't think I am.
I might be.
If you don't-
of my purchases, yeah,
Yeah.
I might be.
If you don't,
Yeah,
I don't know.
it says Chad with Exodus.
yeah,
every
I write
time.
those.
Oh, you right?
Yeah. So if there's a typo, that's me.
Don't worry,
I'm solid on typos.
I would say
man.
we get called out on typos
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah. Yeah,
What's up, Matt?
Yeah, what's up, Matt? If I type one word wrong in a blog, I know it, man. Someone tells me. So,
Good proofreaders out there.
oh yeah, really good. And I am not a blog writer. I don't have a future in that, but people read them, so I'm just gonna keep doing it. So, trying to create that content. But
So, a solar panel is something that I haven't done. Something you guys offer. Can you kind of maybe explain a little bit more? I know obviously the benefits of it is battery life and so forth, but maybe just kind of setting it up.
Yeah, so we released those this spring, and it's a really solid product. It works with any 12-volt camera, but obviously it was designed for our cameras specifically, so it works with the Lift 2, the Trek, and the Render, and even the original Lift 1 as well. And the whole purpose of it was just to extend that battery life, especially with the Render. And out of the box, you just charge that thing, and I would suggest getting a cam lock mount off our website. So the solar panel does not come with a mount, so you can make one at home, or you can go ahead and buy one off the website. And if you put the solar panel with the Render, it is going to run forever as long as it gets a little bit of sun. And it charges pretty quickly. It doesn't have to be on a field post on a corner, in the field. So it could be in somewhat of a dense area and still gather enough solar energy. So it's pretty efficient. And I want to say that comes with a 1 or 2 year manufacturing warranty.
nice.
I'm gonna say I think if you could get it in, even if it wasn't a deep woods.
I mean,
Only 3 to 4 months of
Yeah.
where it's solid growth. I mean, it'd be the only problem you'll have, and by then you don't even know what the deer is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so if you have a set of lithium batteries in the camera, and then you have the solar panel fully charged, that's equivalent to 2 sets of lithium batteries, and you guys know how long a set of lithium batteries
Yeah.
lasts,
Right.
and that's with zero charging
Man,
at
that's
any
like
point.
a huge cost saver.
It's expensive.
Yeah.
Long term, it'll save you money without a doubt.
long term, it'll save you money because, I mean, if you're running lithium batteries, I mean, if you're not buying them on Amazon like you should be, like me,
Yeah.
I mean, you go into a store, an 8-pack's like $17, $16, at Kroger. That's what I'm getting them for,
Yeah, Amazon's like $12.
Yeah, so you're saving $17 a
You're buying
can change.
convenience, bro.
Yeah, and you're buying convenience. You don't have to look at it. You don't have to think about it. It's just going.
Right?
You know how much I think about my mobile cam? Like, all the time. I'm like, battery's at 12%. I get text message daily. Battery is low. Battery, yeah. So I had the lithiums burn out, and I put regulars in there. I was just going to test it. 3 weeks.
Solid.
3 weeks, non-lithium batteries. gone.
Yeah, those things take a lot of power. I mean, you're
strapping. And I was updating every 3 hours, which I shouldn't be. But I'm just
this time of year.
You
Anxious.
really want to see that grass growing.
I'm really
trying to do a time lapse of the grass growing.
I got a solid time lapse of grass right now. I'm telling you, grass, coons, coyotes. I'm your man. Shooter bucks, not so much, but
sounds like you need to move the camera.
They're coming. They're coming. We've got 3 picks.
We moved it face down.
Yeah, we aiming at the ground. You got to look at the hoofs, man. Everybody looks at the racks. It's about the hooves. Everybody's got the game wrong. You got to look at the hooves. If it's a mature deer, you don't even see the rack, and then you just hunt them off the hooves.
Well, think how easy tracking would be then. If you
way easy.
Identify all the tracks.
This guy's got a left pinky toe is a little short. Guaranteed it's him.
Hey, that's a big deal in Maine. I'm telling you. How blood, check him out.
Yeah.
There are a lot of good trackers up that way, though.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
That's one thing that I could never be like, oh, yeah, I got a deer track here. I know what I'm like.
I'm going right to his bed.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way. There's absolutely no way. But them guys up there, that's how they kill big deer. It's crazy.
Nuts.
Craziest thing I ever heard.
That's one thing that we've learned about or had the privilege of podcasting is we get to meet so many people and learn so much stuff that you never would be able to. We listen to someone and, we're like, what did he just say? And they were like, oh, yeah, I do this all the time. I'm like, that would never work. But this guy's like super successful, got, a ton of bucks on the wall. I'm like, it's working for him, but I would never try that in my life. You know what I mean? But it's super cool to hear those different tactics. Like, I look at a deer track in the woods as like, I have no idea how long the thing's been there. It's just not something that I'm...
Just like, okay, there was a decent buck here.
Yeah, at one point in the last 3 months.
Yeah.
When did rain last?
Yeah. Probably nocturnal.
Yeah, probably not.
Definitely nocturnal.
That track was made at night, I can guarantee it. Dew conditions, it's deep, guaranteed nighttime.
Yeah, that's a whole new world.
Yeah. So I want to bring up trail cam radio. I know we mentioned it before, but I think it's... I really want our listeners to listen to Trail Cam Radio. I think even our hardcore Snapchat follower should listen to Trail Cam Radio because they can learn so much. So that was a Snapchat call out. We try to do one of those every episode because those guys are so
Did you say
solid.
corn?
I did. I didn't say corn, but I should have.
Okay.
We did now, but yeah. Go into Trail Cam Radio a little bit about. I know you did earlier, but go into a little bit about that, and then also go into where they can find you on YouTube to also see the content of the video podcast.
Yeah, so you can find us just about anywhere you listen to podcasts. And Trail Cam Radio, I think we're up to maybe 60 episodes now, I think. And some of the earlier ones, like you were mentioning, are a lot more technical. And then since then, we've been interviewing a lot of people who are better at deer hunting than us and trying to learn.
You can find anybody on the street.
And trying to learn from them and their trail camera tactics and also just some general things, and also talking about how we run our business and just some other things that we think are interesting. We talk about the tariffs before and how that could impact the industry. So
that was interesting to me. That's something that I never even thought about. And I was talking to homie. I'm like, I know he listened. I was like, they got some next level stuff going on right now. I'm like, this is super interesting. This is stuff that I have no clue even happened. But then you're thinking, like you said, every other brand's doing the same thing. So
well, and just like you guys said on there, like people say they want to buy American. People say they want a USA made product, but they don't want to pay for it.
Exactly.
And then they wonder why when if they were to come to Exodus and be like, "Whoa, why'd you guys jack up the price $15?" Well, we have to do this, and this now.
Yeah.
And it was a podcast episode that was really informative on like the business end and the backside of what's really making Exodus tick. And kind of I'm not going to say he called everybody out, but makes everybody think when they say I want an American made product.
No, it called me out. Like I say that, right? And then I think about the stuff I buy, and I try to do that to the most part. But I'm like, man,
and 95% is bullshit.
I'm the exact guy that this guy's talking about.
Exactly.
I try to do what I can, but I'm like, oh, this is $40. You know what I mean? It's hard. Really hard to do, and when you called that out, I'm like, that's me. It's talking to me right now.
I felt accountability when I heard it, and I was like, I mean, it's just true real life stuff that he said, which is what all the Trail Cam Radio is. Just like going back to the megapixel deal, it's just real life stuff.
Yeah, we try to be just pretty straightforward, not super objective, and not try to ruffle feathers in any regard too, which sometimes
super hard to do.
Yeah, it's like you're walking on glass a lot of times. But I think we tried to do our best just to give our honest opinion or what we know. We're not what we say is not the end all be all, but by any means, it's our experience for whatever that's worth.
I would say, I think with you guys being a company, you can give really good insight like you guys have done. I don't think you guys have, ruffled any feathers along the way. And I think people actually appreciate you guys being that honest voice of what's actually going on and giving that different perspective.
I actually like when you do a company-based one, like when you did the one, like how to approach a sponsor. That was super beneficial, I thought. And I think it's beneficial for a lot of listeners, too, that people that have started something that are learning, be like, okay, these guys are deal with this on the daily basis. And I learned some stuff from that episode.
Be like, ATA is not the place to do business.
Yeah,
it's a place for business to do business.
But when we heard about ATA first, that's all we hear about.
That's
and
what
cut some deals.
Yeah, and that's not the place to do it. So,
well, that's good to hear. That's good that what we're doing is providing some value. So that's really good to hear.
Yeah,
definitely a lot of value. Yeah, it's podcast I listen to weekly, and like Cody and I say on here all the time, we're podcast junkies, and it's definitely one that we're tuning into every week.
We appreciate that because there's a lot to pick from. So,
yeah.
But based on that feedback, we'll definitely continue what we're doing. And for instance, we just did our summer content trip and interviewed the hunting public, Scott Buckley, and then Dan Infalt, and all those were recorded on video as well. So on our YouTube channel, those are all on there, and we've interviewed Jeff Sturgis, and we recorded like 6 interviews with him in a very short amount of time, and that was a lot of fun. And so we always try to do that if we can, or if we have a guest in house at the office, we record it. But it's just one more way for people to maybe listen to a lot of podcasts. You don't necessarily know, like, what does that guy even look like, or like what are those guys about. So it's kind of one way just for people to hopefully connect and understand.
Yeah, I think the video outlet's great. I mean, I love it. You got geese flying in the background and stuff on them. I'm like, this is so cool, And Jeff's just an awesome guy. He's great on video too. That guy is so solid on video. I watched a lot of those, and he's just like, bam, bam.
He's sharp.
Yeah, and he's got giants all over the place. And he's like, this is what you need to do. I'm like, all right, Jeff, you're my man. But he called a cold front 2 years ago, and he was like, if you're a deer hunter, you need to be in the woods. And then I ended up shooting my 2018 buck that night. He called that cold front. So I was like, you're my man, Jeff. So
2017?
2017, yeah, 2017. So
it's awesome to work with Jeff. We've worked with Jeff for a long time, and a lot of respect for what he does. And that's the thing, like a lot of people we work with and a lot of people we record that content with are just like good people that genuinely love to provide, their knowledge to the whitetail community. And it's a pleasure to talk to those people too.
Yeah, those are the guys that having them on a podcast, those are legit people that know what they're doing, know how to kill deer, and for you to go, like I said before, to drive and do in-person all them miles, and we always say in-person podcasts are so much better. You get a feel for what's going on, and then you get all the after stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like the hour or
or
two
before.
or before that we had going on here. But I just want to appreciate you coming down and driving this far again. Is there anything else that you want to say to the listeners before we cut you off?
Not really. I definitely just appreciate you guys and inviting me into your studio.
I don't know. This is like a garage.
Small.
Yeah.
No, it's studio. Don't sell the listener short.
Yeah.
We definitely really appreciate it and the kind words, and it's good to get kind of, like I said, hearing how the treks are doing in the wild and getting the feedback on the content we're putting out there, because it is a lot of work, and that's where we hired Cameron so we can pump out more content. So hopefully we keep that track.
Yeah, you're coming down to a podcast that's actually fans of your cameras and your podcast. You know what I mean? So we're glad we could showcase both in this episode. And
hey, the next intern you get, don't hire him full time. Just send him our way. We need an intern.
Yeah.
We can't afford an intern.
Yeah.
It was kind of random, honestly, because Cameron was a customer as well.
Nice.
And we had our applications out, and we are getting like a lot of various applications, and then it's like he has his accounting degree. He was an accountant before he started. It's like, well, we could have someone help with the books. That'd be all right.
Right.
And then he's done a good job.
Double dip for sure.
Like, all right, bro, you can run a calculator. All right, you're hired.
You're in.
So I can't thank you guys enough. Oh, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no. I was just gonna say, all you got to do is be able to run a calculator. You work for Exodus.
All right, man. Jake came down, That was an awesome episode.
He was down here for a long time.
He was a long time. Luckily, it sounded like he had some family to do some event tomorrow, so maybe he didn't have to drive all the way back home tonight. So that
For
worked
sure.
out good. Huge thank you to him and Exodus for coming down and gracing us with his presence in studio. It was a lot of fun. Got to talk to him on the podcast, after podcast. Got to learn more about Exodus. Got to learn. Makes me want to get some more Exodus cams. Great company, great people behind it, and that's all.
And great people backing a great company. Like, you know, with just their warranty, like, you're not going to find that.
No, you can't beat a 5-year
Anywhere
warranty plus, you know, the theft warranty and everything. It's just literally impossible to beat. Josh Profit's been telling us for 2 years, you know what I mean, how legit it is, and it's legit. So we hope you guys enjoyed the first episode of the Gear Series, Whitetail Gear Series. We got another one coming next week. This is a company that I guarantee you guys don't know, but makes an awesome product. So look out for next week's episode. Get out there. Season's getting ready. Take your kids out. Let them pull some trail cams. Don't worry about scent control. You ain't got to worry about that. Try to leave a legacy. Whitetail Legacy's out.